Many folks struggle during a job search. It can be isolating and so demoralizing. What if the job search could be tailor-made for you, your skill set, your ambitions, your aspirations? Our guest built a Stitch Fix for Careers platform, providing personalized technology-enabled career guidance. And boy, does she have some sensational startup stories and insights to share with you today. It's Fab Female Founder Friday on the Startup Life Live Show. Let's glow. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And after raising 4 businesses of my own, I now love sharing startup founders' startup stories to help newly minted business owners find the solutions and inspiration they need to succeed. And thank you for carving out time to tune in and up your founder game while cheering on a fellow founder. A new resource, tool, solution can often be discovered while hearing a fellow founder's startup story. And if you're joining us live today, please share a yoo-hoo in the comments below. I got to tell you, there's nothing I love more than a good yoo-hoo from everybody. Thank you so much. And if you're watching the replay, please share #replay in the comments so I can be sure to thank you as you view the show. If you like the founder stories and gems you're hearing today, please share this with your community or in your feed. And thank you for sharing your love with the video from wherever you're watching it. Because, we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. And if you're tuning in from YouTube, oh my gosh, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button and that little bell icon so that you get notified every time we go live. That's so great. And all of this generous support that you provide helps the show reach more newly minted first-time founders. And we're really helping them maximize the joy and minimize the heartache from the startup founder journey. So I'm so grateful for you in helping out with that. Now, I got to introduce you to this really amazing fab female founder that we've got going on here. It's Elissa Unton. And it's Elissa Unton. I'm going to get that right, Elissa. Really. She's giving me the thumbs up in the back room. Okay. Elissa is the founder and CEO of ArcVita. And as I said earlier, this is the Stitch Fix for Careers platform, providing personalized technology-enabled career guidance with full support to U.S. professionals who are actively seeking their optimal career move. And ArcVita personalizes and guides your job search experience to your specific needs by first understanding what lights you up, what energizes you, what impact you want to have in the world, and how do you want to spend your days? Gosh, it almost makes me want to apply for a job, even though I'm really unemployable. An energetic leader, Elissa brings deep and broad experience in finance, strategy, communications, and leadership from small businesses and large corporations to collaboratively solve frustrating business problems. Oh my gosh, I'm ready to give this woman I got my clappers ready, okay? An incredible round of applause. Please join me in welcoming the wonderful, the only Elissa Unton.
Well, gosh, Ande, I'd hire you. I don't know if you're unemployable. I think between copywriting and great introductions and a desire to maximize joy, and come on, what kind of value can't you provide? I think you're pretty employable. And also, I understand as a founder wanting to create value without working for someone else. So got it, 100%.
It's so true. And, probably it's also because I'm a card-carrying member of the PBS club. That's the Pushy Broad Squad club. Sometimes it's best if I'm just left in charge. But, well, first of all, where are you hailing from today?
I am in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, such a beautiful part of the world. So it probably wasn't 27 when you woke up this morning.
No, but I always say it's probably 70 degrees in your home too. So I actually haven't been outside yet. I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse.
It does make me feel really good. And we have some great startup stories and insights and solutions that you found along the way. But can we talk a little bit about the nonprofit that you launched in LA that you were part of establishing? Because I'm just so in awe and wonder of what you're doing there. And I don't know if I've really heard anything like it before, Elissa.
Yeah, well, being a visionary isn't always an easy path. I was a volunteer and a leader, a philanthropic leader of an advocacy project that we called Skid Row Spa. And if you walk around downtown LA at all, and honestly, all of LA now, there's so many people living outside. It's just volume and so as a community, we had met a group that had recently done a survey of 1,000 people about what was needed in the Skid Row community. And Skid Row is a community of people, many of whom are housed and many of whom are unhoused. It is not a collection of derelict humans who are beyond whatever. It's a community. So what this community said in survey is the number one need was bathrooms. I didn't start out thinking like, ooh, I'm going to change the world with a toilet. But the number one need based on the research was bathrooms. And so with a very small group, I jumped in as a leader and we went through lots of research, lots of advocacy. We worked with an architect, lots and lots of stuff over 3 years. At one point, I worked with a community group and I led an audit of the available hygiene facilities for people living outside, like literally an audit, like teams of people walking around at different times of the day and night, taking all the data. And the data was very powerful. Unfortunately, it showed that living outside in downtown LA was worse than living in a refugee camp because the resources for showering, using the toilet, anything were so far below the humanity standard. And so because of that, the LA Times, which has been an amazing advocate for so many resources, that really kind of encouraged the city to find this funding, the community we worked within the community, coming in as a white savior or any kind of a savior is disgusting to people. The community embraced this project as their own, and the city funded it. It's open 24 hours a day, serving up to 700 or 800 people as it's called the Refresh Spot. And importantly, it's operated by Homeless Healthcare, which is a lovely organization focused on dignity and health. Right. If you smell, you don't want to talk to people. No. And so it's a wonderful place. My name is nowhere on it, and I love that. This is a community resource. It's a public good. It's not funded by private donations or some kind of a faith group. I have faith, but this is a public good. And so because of that leadership experience, which is, an amazing outcome, I gained a lot of confidence. Again, I was working full-time in finance doing that. But that I could really create something
wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, because I would like to see that around the world. And the point that you brought up, and I know, folks, I digress over here, I'm going over that way, but seriously, this is just such an incredible cause, because if you've ever hung out in any of the warm climates, because even here in Boston, we certainly have a homeless population, but it's not as great as you see in San Francisco and in LA and in Miami and in parts of, where the climate is warmer. And the fact that you are bringing the dignity back, because nobody wants to be that person. It's bad enough getting kicked out, not being able to have a home. And if anybody has seen Nomadland, that a house doesn't make a home, right? And if you're going to be able to get cleaned up, I just think that's wonderful. And I agree with you.
You know what? I have to say, I love it. No white saviors. Yes, preach that. I have to say two things. One, that experience taught me that we need keys. We don't need more services. We don't need more case managers. We need affordable housing at every level for seniors and college students and families. And I won't stand on that soapbox, but I'm a big advocate for housing.
I am too. And it's really, housing is not that hard. If you follow even van life, you can have a van that will take care of you, and you can have everything there, and it's not that expensive. You can upscale. No, what is it called? Upcycle other vans. I mean, there's just so many ways we can make this work, folks. And so how about hashtag we need more keys, Mia? Can we have that too? Mia Voss, you're amazing. I love seeing you in the comment threads. Mia is from Denver and has her own multi-stream type of businesses, from hard hat to podcast called Shit We Don't Talk About. And that's one of the things we should be talking more about, right, Mia? As well as she's a brand ambassador and an actionist. So, you are really walking the talk, Elissa and Elissa. And then, stand on that stuff. I will stand on it with you. We will all stand on it with you. Okay.
You know what? That's exactly what it takes. And, we're going to talk more about starting businesses today, but, as communities, we solve problems together. And as communities, we stop solutions together. So my encouragement to each of you, wherever you are, is to think about being part of a solution. No matter how small your role is, even if you're housebound, you can be supportive of people doing good work on social media. That's my encouragement. We solve problems together as communities.
Yeah. And I think that's the one we want to focus on, not the fact that we can stop solutions too as communities. We don't want to be doing that. All right. Well, that was a beautiful moment. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. And Mia, thank you for chiming in. Let's talk about, there you were, doing this as a side benefit to society, something very fulfilling to you, as well as working full-time, parenting, the usual. And you had something crop up inside you that said, oh, I got to solve this job hunt, job search, career, next step problem. What was it? What called you? What was the event that happened, Elissa?
Oh, I love that question. So a couple things came together. One, I had been a mentor, both always informally. I've gotten so much help and I always wanted to, lift the people around me up. But also formally, my alma mater, USC, has a wonderful program for business school undergraduates, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. For 5 years, I would have groups of these people for the entire academic year as part of this formal program. And I would try to help them, and they would struggle. It would be 9 months for them to land anything, much less something that was a great fit. And so I really saw, and they're, oh my gosh, peak everything: health, intelligence, ambition, flexibility, and they just couldn't find anything. And then on the other side of it, I was working, at these corporate employers, building larger and larger teams. And I was really heavily involved with recruiting, hiring, and training. And I just saw the pain of getting the right person in the right chair. And it's so frustrating and so expensive, I might add, on both sides. If you're unemployed for 6 months, that's really expensive. If you can't fill your chair that you need for someone on your team, that's a terrible productivity.
It's a loss.
Impact, a loss. So I really saw the pain on both sides. And then one of my co-founders, Anna Graham Hunter, who is a brilliant career coach, I had watched her as a friend. We weren't besties, but we were friends. And I had watched her for 5 years doing her business, her solo career coaching business that she called Career Happiness. And she developed an innovative process. And I was watching her do this work with career changers. And I was like, gosh, this is something. So when I went and talked to her about my idea of using technology, I saw all this technology that wasn't being used at all in the job search or the hiring side.
What do you mean you saw this technology you saw wasn't being used? What is that?
Monster and Career Builder, they're great platforms, but they weren't innovative in the 90s.
Let alone Ladders and Indeed today.
Oh, by the way, amazing brands, good people, great tools. No disparagement. We need these tools and they're great. But that was innovative a long time ago. Yeah. And I saw the pain, and all, on the hiring side and on the job seeker side, people were using all of these tools with massive frustration, demoralization on the job. On the hiring manager side, you get 400 or 1,000 applicants for a position.
I want to just say, this is where Elissa has really opened up my eyes and maybe my heart too, because, I have fallen off the wagon a few times since 92, since I, became unemployable. But, and I would always be just aghast at the fact that, applying, even handheld, people take my resume to the board of directors, the hiring people, and I would never hear anything. So you're right. Innovation has to happen. And I have a deeper understanding now on the side when you post a job, the avalanche of responses. And, there's the personal touch that used to be there is no longer, because so many people can apply from around the world, right?
Yes, and I don't have current data from years ago said some really high percentage, more than 85% of roles are filled by referrals still, in spite of all the time and energy on these other tools. So, being a top candidate often requires, you have to have the skills, education, experience, motivation, et cetera, and a champion.
Right.
And as professionals, nobody teaches you how to do that. I mean, we teach you, but being taught how to communicate in a compelling way, how to really show up for only what you're excited about, how to, come into the referral, like that's not intuitive.
Right. And so this problem, like, how did it light your heart up? Because as you know, we have to have a North Star when we're founders. And folks, if you're launching a business because you think, oh, I could make really good money doing this, you're not going to last.
No, don't do that. I had done some work through actually a corporate development program, some kind of a training, which I found very valuable. And I'm not like most entrepreneurs. I'm a lifelong learner. I am forever reading. And I always say I'm never going back to school. Meanwhile, I'm always in a class. Like, it's just how it is. So I learned, I did a lot of deep work around my personal and professional credo. And the 2 points there that matter for ArcVita are helping other people develop their careers is a really central part of how I work, and solving tough problems. So this tough problem, a great job changes your life. It's income, it's fulfillment, it's impact, it's how you care for your family, right? On the business side, a great team, like, come and get it. And we've talked a little about me starting out ArcVita. Y'all, if you could meet my team, like our team is fully remote. We work asynchronously. We're fully distributed. I can't wait to get everybody together post-COVID. Like, these people individually and collectively are wonderful, talented, amazing people. It's not about me, right? So putting that goal of how do we solve a tough problem and put right people in the right chairs, like, this is very, on hard days, it's fulfilling work.
Yeah, look at the glow on Elissa's face. I mean, seriously, that's it. She is in love with this process. And folks, that's what you have to be. And I say it every time. Founders need to be problem solvers.
I would say too, what's exciting to me, and I don't know if this is a North Star, but technology really has changed everything. At heart, ArcVita is a data play in the same way that Oracle or Workday are, like, those are the enterprise HR data systems. But like consumer, everybody's carrying a smartphone. We've all learned to work at home this year.
Yeah.
Like, the technology, the data science technology, the artificial intelligence technology, like, what is possible with technology is very exciting in terms of finding the right job faster, filling out your team with the right people in a better way. Like, it's very compelling to me to take what's possible and make it reality for people,
Yeah, but also you're an artist, because the way you describe it all, and founders, please note that Elissa is talking about her team and how important this amazing team is. And when this is true leadership, what you just heard Elissa do, which was really her excitement over these folks who are helping her and bringing everything to light. This is how you attract a really great team, is being that type of leader who's there to help them have a rich and meaningful experience, especially when sometimes you cannot pay them what their market rate is in a startup. That's going to be coming. But
hope and smoke. We're recruiting with hope and smoke. Especially as a bootstrap startup. I will say it gets easier. The more great people you have on your team, the easier it is to recruit great people.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You have some of the best lines ever. We're just like 15 minutes into the conversation. I agree, Mia. I vote we clone Elissa and her team. We need more of this in our world. Yes, that alignment that's so important. But of course, you had to do what we all have to do, everybody, as founders, because it's 42% of businesses fail because we don't take the time to prove that value prop. And also, especially if you're in tech, you may end up spending way too much money trying to prove that value prop. How did you come and pull it? Because now your heart's in it. You see this problem and you know that you can bring this solution and you understand what the pain points are for both sides. How did you create an MVP? What did that look like so that you could then start to test it out, get some focus group, get some feedback? What was that journey like?
Well, because my co-founder, Anna, had already been working with this process for several years, and she brought her intellectual property to ArcVita, we already knew the process worked. So we didn't have to research whether or not we could create value. The thing about the career transition, and our clients are entrepreneurs who need paychecks. We'll talk more about that. They are people who are trying to decide whether to go to business school or not just business school, graduate school, which is a very expensive decision to do on the fly. Right. Or people who are kind of activating, launching their careers, or people in transition who've been very successful and now are going to do something else. All of which is very quantifiable. A weekly salary, everyone we talk to has that number in their head. And so when we create, like, our top level value proposition is we can help you find the right job in half the time.
Wow.
And you can do, like, that's math. If you get hired in 10 weeks instead of 20 weeks, that's math. Now, the lower level, like being happy in a workplace where you belong and your values align and you're performing at capacity, like, I tease our clients sometimes, you like us now, you're going to love us in 10 years. Like that, you want to talk about value. That's
right. And that's measurable, which I know that you love. So you had your wonderful co-founder with you so that you knew she had already nailed down the process. She already knew.
And we had another co-founder too. So when we started, we had a tech co-founder. And, I'm going to jump off on a tangent here, right here. When you read about companies in, the media, especially tech startups, there's this myth that everything happens in a year. Like, if it does happen in a year for you, good, go get it. I'm on your team. But usually it's 5. Right. Usually it's 5, guys. And I know that because I have friends who are accountants. And you know who tells you the straight deal? Accountants. So it's not marriage, it's a startup. And so people do come and go. And our first technical co-founder only came in for, I think, 7 or 8 months. He built the rudimentary, just a very base level of our platform. And then he ended up exiting for life reasons.
But can we just put a pause here? Because folks, this is why you need a great operating agreement from day one when you bring in stakeholders like co-founders so that they know that they have an exit. What does that exit look like? Are they left with any equity after they exit? Get all that written down. They're adding value in the beginning. Everybody's putting it in their blood, sweat, and tears and adding value. But if you don't put the right agreement, get the right attorney to help you with this, you will be stuck building an incredible business and somebody will have undiluted 10% of your business and they've done nothing since that first 9 months. Okay. What do you have to say about that, Elissa?
Well, I'm going to plug my attorney. Our attorney is Stephen Lee at Goodwin Proctor, which is an amazing firm. And Stephen was referred to us. He only worked with us because I came in through a referral. Like he didn't know us. And he came in, I had gone to a presentation he did at a startup kind of incubator kind of thing. And I took notes. I always joke like a 4th grader. Like I just okay, do this. And then I did that and I checked it off. And then do this. And I did that and I checked it off. And then he came and worked with us on an incredible basis. Goodwin Proctor has all kinds of templates you can use, like He has just been so wonderful over the life of ArcVita. He has been an amazing partner for us. And those agreements, the founder agreements, the incorporation agreements, the equity agreements, the separation agreements, like it's not, it doesn't feel like building a startup to spend all this time on legal paperwork. It just doesn't. It feels like a distraction. It feels like it's not important. It feels expensive.
Or you just want to go on LegalZoom.
Well, I don't fault anybody for doing anything. Like, I think Stripe Atlas is an amazing tool. I think LegalZoom is amazing. But like, the number one thing to know with co-founders is that somebody will leave. And, especially we're B2C bootstrap tech company. We're building a brand, we're building technology, and we haven't, we're just now opening our first round, which I'm happy to talk about later. But people it's hard to stay without that kind of income and when it takes so long. So no, somebody's going to go. And, the base of agreement and friendship, really valuing the person is what's going to carry over. So your business doesn't.
That's right. And you have shared so much here, but I'm just going to wrap this up. Your dream team, folks: attorney, accountant, your banker, and your insurance provider. Those are the core foundations. I know you don't even know if the business will last more than a year. You don't know if the idea will take off. There's no guarantee, but you need to protect your idea and yourself and the people who are joining you. And when you have clear guidance along the way, so that it's all written out and everybody knows what their role is and what happens when they take a step left, right, whatever, you are honoring your business, yourself, and your team and your co-founders. Thank you for your bringing that incredible insight again for the audience, for our first-time founders. I just have a quick side question, because I forgot to ask this in the beginning, which is, how did you come up with the name ArcVita?
Oh, I love that question. So my co-founder Anna and I sat down one day and we really thought a lot about what we're building. And, we're not about finding a job. We're about having a great life. And so arc is an amazing word. It's actually the same in several languages. And it really refers, of course, if you think about an arc of electricity, like the energy that's going forward, but also an arc in architecture is a really strong shape. It really holds things up. And if you think about your career, and I'm sure you've had many roles over the years, like there's an arc, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're still contributing, you're working. And so arc is really an important part of how we think about your life as well as your career. And then Vita, that's again popularized with that Living La Vida Loca song. But what that means is that globally, people know what Vita means, and it means life. And there's also something else there, which is, ArcVita right now serves ambitious U.S. professionals in career transition. That's not everybody, but we will be global because work is not a national problem. So right from the outset, we wanted to signal with Vita that we will, we serve everybody and we will be global. So those are two of the pieces that came together. And of course, the domain was available, which we also enjoyed.
Yay! That's a big challenge in the trademark as well. So I love this because I just wanted to bring it up so we could take a look and sort of take that all in. Because when you come up with a name, as much as you do need a name that is meaningful to you founders. It's really important. You're going to be living with this name for forever. It needs to spark whatever lights you up. Okay. But also, if it's going to be a name that could be used in a product, you need to have that great tagline. You need to have that wonderful information that follows it up so that people have that double hit ArcVita and then going right into, how.
Well, and I love that too, that little side comment you made about trademark. I'm going to do a quick shout out to our advisor, who is also an attorney, Cynthia Latra-Gillis, who's amazing. She's I never get her title right. She's an associate general counsel at Western Digital, which is a huge tech company, and she's actually an expert in in lots of things, including IP and trademark. But yeah, getting a name that you can trademark and register. And then, as you drop down into, like, we have programs, we don't have products, we have programs, but we also, want to be intentional with how we're using the words. And, that's the kind of thing, especially when you're building a brand, you need to start with the right information so you don't build a brand on top of someone else's trademark.
Exactly. I mean, I don't care how small you are, coffee shop, you do not want to be put out of business because some big muckety muck comes in and says, nope, you didn't trademark, you didn't do your homework. And of course, I have a really fun side story, everybody. When I had my business, I launched my business, Goddess Granola, my food manufacturing business. And I loved that name. And I filed for the trademark and I didn't see anybody with it, but it came back with a big honking no. And I was like, wait, I'm like in Obama panel already. And I really love this name. How do I fix this? I called the SEC, the attorneys down, the trademark attorneys. And they said, well, you can ask this one bakery in Santa Rosa, California called the Lotus Bakery if it's okay with them. Then they have to sign this document. I'm like, I got this. And so I did. I called the owner because they had a Goddess bar, granola bar. And the trademark folks felt it rubbed up against. So, you can get a fat no, but you can come around. I didn't have to spend too much in attorney dollars either for that because I did a lot of the legwork myself. But the guy said, oh yeah, sure, I'll sign that. No problem. Knock yourself out. You glow goddess. And I was like, yay. So these are the things that happen, right? As you're on your journey as a founder. So I love that we pulled on the trademark thread there. So
and if you're building, especially B2B or B2C, like, it's brand, baby. If I say Lululemon, you think pants, right?
So
if I say Uber, you think the ride. Like, it's brand.
It is so brand. Lucky jeans, right? But here now you said, okay, we've got the team, we're creating the technology. How did you bring on that first customer? How did you and what did you learn from that with them when you onboarded? What was that process like?
Well, I'm gonna answer this in two ways. The first thing I'm gonna say is that we thought our business was B2B2C from the start, and we were wrong. So my co-founder, again, had done all of this work, and a lot of her work had been B2B to C through universities. And so we thought, okay, well, we'll just use this model that works successfully. And we went out, we talked to, I think, people at 100 universities. We really thought like that was the market research play we were doing. Like, we were going to build relationships with people in the alumni career offices, and then through them we would offer our programs. Without going into it, that wasn't the path. And so
hold on. We had a switcheroo right there. This is what you learn along the way. It's perfect.
And that pivot, honestly, I read somewhere last year that a pivot like that takes another year. And I did not think that, like, so naive, right? But that was a real pivot. And so, we had to then begin investing in the B2C process. We have this beautiful chain of that we've worked out over time. We did not arrive at this fully formed, but where people talk to us and then they do a low-cost trial. And then if they like the trial, they continue to make their career transition. But those first clients came in through referral, through people we know. One of our first clients came from somebody, right away. One of our first clients referred somebody else.
Nice.
Even people we have a really high client satisfaction rate, which is how we measure success, because again, it's your career transition, not ours. But yeah, so referrals right away started coming in, and then just people we know. I have a little side story. My husband asked me last year, his friend was needing, the man is friends with both of us, but his first, you know how that is. So he said, oh, well, he needs some help. Do you mind talking to him? I don't want it to be awkward. I'm like, it's not awkward. I sell tires, Right. If you need tires, I'm your best friend. And if you don't, you're not browsing for tires. So, this idea that we have a solution that can help in our natural networks, whether that's with our cohort leaders or coaches or mentors who refer people to us or companies to us, or just people who know us, it's been a lot in the beginning.
And so how did you fund this along the way? Did you pull out money out of your 401k plan? Did you, win some pitch competitions? Did you get seed from family and friends? How have you been doing this?
Well, we're 4 years into this. So one thing I will say is all of our revenue has gone back into the business.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about a startup, I encourage you to think about revenue. Cash is queen, baby.
Absolutely.
And that actually, believe it or not, ends up being a very cost-effective financing solution. And then going forward, we have good gross margins, so that helps. The other, oh gosh, what else haven't we done? When I left my last job, I had negotiated an agreement. That money carried us for a while. ArcVita has had some credit cards we relied on over time. I went back in 2019. I did some side hustle. I backfilled the CFO at a $50 million chemical company, which is, that's my wheelhouse. I'm a finance person in my training. And then I also worked with another founder and a team I just adore called Moby. They're doing B2B software. So I did some strategy and finance work with them full time. I don't recommend working full time on 2 jobs, by the way. It was a tough year.
Yeah.
That money carried my family. That money went back into the business. And honestly, I am married to a wonderful man. He's so wonderful that for the first 5 years, people would say, "Where did you find him?" And he has, it was always a 2-for-1. He's just brought his wisdom and intelligence to this operation, but he also has carried us. And that paycheck, that direct deposit, that healthcare, I wouldn't be in business without that.
Right. And I'm having, one of my Andy-licious moments here because I feel so strongly that there's the mythology out there that you launch, you build, and boom, 3 years you're out. It's no. Okay. And also, you don't burn the ships. You don't burn the bridges. You make sure that you reduce the stress in your life by having a side hustle or if you have the good fortune to be in a great relationship with someone who may not be an entrepreneur, but wants you to feel fulfilled in what you want to do and need to do, then that's great. But don't put that added burden on yourself. Unless you're 26 and you can live at home and mom and dad can take care of you.
Mom and dad are then your funders, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I would say too, I don't recommend it on a marriage. B2C without funding, it's too hard. I don't recommend it. But I think we do actually have our first round open right now. Just our first one. We're doing an angel round. We're raising $300K. Am I allowed to say?
Absolutely. You can't share the terms. Everybody, the SEC is just very equity sensitive. So we can talk about raising 300K and, I've got 150.
Yeah. So we're 30%, we're 30% checks cash. That money's already working. And we're going to finish the round by end of May. So if you're an investor who's excited about tech, we've got this amazing team and the AI piece of it, we're just starting to touch. So
that's congratulations. That's super because once you've got, folks in, it's easier to get other folks in to close the deal. And I've got a few recommendations for you. Certainly TBD Angels here in Boston. I think they'd love to learn more about what you're doing and some others. But folks, if you're raising funds, you get the support you need, get the pitch deck support you need, get the introductions you need. If you're struggling with resources, reach out to me because I can send you to some incredible folks, even just to, hear what they've got going on or cohorts that you can apply where they actually fund you as well as train you and get you, some good traction. There's a lot of great opportunities out there. So thank you for sharing how you're funding all of this. Let's talk more about how you as a tech platform are making that connection. So, you're bringing in folks who, they're in career transition. They're ready to see, where their cheese got moved to. And you're trying to get out of them this, unique proposition for them for where they want to go. How does that work with technology? How have you found taking the ways that your co-founder knew worked and then put it into what you have going on here? I'll put up the career, this right here, the off-road career path.
actually want to talk about this a little separately and then talk about how. So the reason I wanted to share this with this audience, assuming that there's lots of entrepreneurs and founders watching, is that we call this path of creators, community builders, founders, off-road path. Many, if not most people on the entrepreneurial path will need to work for money along the way, either before or during or after. And so we probably 20 or 30, 25% of our clients are people who are actively looking for full-time work, but they're entrepreneurs. And so we have a whole separate archetype and content path around this. So that was just my little pitch. So many times when creators or community builders or founders talk to us, they feel relief. They're like, oh, I'm not weird. I'm not, I've never heard this before as a career path. And, and as, ArcVita's vision is that we have a world full of people. Our mission is this world full of happy, successful professionals engaged in fulfilling work where they belong. And so that means that adhering to someone else's career path isn't a thing. So any entrepreneurs or people on the entrepreneur path who really need full-time paying work and are looking for that, 1 to 2 year fit, send me a note. I got you.
1 to 2 year fit. And, folks, you may remember when I interviewed Sarah Green last fall. She's the founder of the Braid Releaser. She's not leaving Adidas. She loves her job at Adidas. And so fortunately her prior co-founder is her mom, but you can be happy in a career and have a side hustle, provided you've got the right team in place and provided you're happy doing what you're doing. So back to
just the tips there too. If you are an off-roader, I am, then what you really want to do when you're focusing on full-time paying work is think about what you are excited to learn and who you are excited to work with. And that's it. That's enough to find the right fit. You're not on someone else's career path. That working with great people and really being excited to learn is what's going to give you what you need to be fulfilled in the meantime, in that year to fit.
And it's so key. Don't put yourself under all the stress that can come from not being able to pay rent, mortgage, eat.
Yeah. You're going to be homeless. Yeah. And then to answer your other question, because I didn't really, I was looking at that slide and I was like, oh, I want people to know what an off-roader is. We have a holistic wraparound service. Everything's on our website, by the way. We try to be as transparent as possible. And so you can see what's up. But yeah, so we think about how can we affordably deliver what each job seeker, not just job seekers, sometimes people are going to graduate school, starting their own business, like it happens, right? So what do you need to do? And so we have this platform where we have an application, we have a community, we have live weekly sessions with your group that are led by expert working professionals, happy working professionals who are amazing, caring people. And we have one-to-one support when you get stuck. By the way, you always get stuck because you're human. And so we have mentors and cohort leaders. And this wraparound experience in a very methodical, like, okay, here's what you need to learn, here's who you need to talk to, is what gets people there. And it's personalized so much so I will share a faux pas with you. When we first started, we didn't ask for pronouns. And so we don't ask for where you live. We don't ask a lot of questions. It's personalized to you. And so whether that's age or gender or family structure or industry, like a lot of services that we see that are alternatives or substitutions, sometimes competitors, are very niche, moms returning to work or tech people or entry-level customer service. And like, how about something personalized? How about what you want?
Oh, and what about the challenge too that the folks who are 55 and older face?
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you a story. I won't use her name because I don't want to embarrass this woman, but we have a woman who's in the first part of our career Energize service right now. And when we spoke to her, I met her, and she is just as ambitious as 22-year-old and more open because she's done so much. She's like, she literally said, I can build a life anywhere. And I am so open and I know how to create value. And honestly, I'm excited about her opportunities. Right. And so, what is true is that we can hold ourselves back, right? And sometimes our life parameters, I'm a mom, I need to live here, I need to do this, like that narrows your opportunity. It doesn't mean there's no opportunity. It just means you get more selective, right?
Right.
So age, in many cases, what happens after your family is raised, after you know who you are, right? Your opportunities actually increase because you're more flexible. And the anxiety, honestly, older people have less anxiety than younger people because they've been successful in their careers. They know how to be successful again. The barriers that people face are individual, and ageism is not a joke.
Right.
So racism, ageism, homophobia, ableism, misogyny, like all of these barriers, and I won't stand on my soapbox about dismantling white supremacy, but here's the thing, right? So all of these barriers are barriers that individual job seekers face.
Yeah.
And so for people, older job seekers, you need to know how to understand how you best create value, right? Not how you go to work, not how you earn a paycheck. How do you create value? This is true for all job seekers. You need to understand who needs you, where you're going to be a top candidate, and you need to know where you are going to thrive. When you have those things lined up, then you have to be able to talk about yourself in a compelling way. And side note, older people like to talk a lot. You need to shorten that up. Compelling is concise. Okay, that's my.
I love that because you're
short question.
No, but your tagline is "We get you there faster." So I'm trying to understand how you get people there faster, because to be able to say that we shorten the cycle time for you to find a good fit for you from being like 5 months down to maybe almost 3 months, that's significant.
Yeah, that's not our tagline. Our tagline is "Let's move your career forward."
Let's move your career. But your promise or your inherent value proposition is we're going to get you there faster.
Yeah, I mean, I think
because that's
the barriers, when you think about why, and every single person is different, by the way. There isn't a soundbite answer here.
Yep.
Our trial process is a visualize. It starts with who are you, what makes you happy, what are your top skills, what's your professional reputation, how have you made decisions in the past that serve you well? Like, that's not a soundbite answer, right? You drop into what kind of life are you building, what kind of impact do you want to have, and then you figure out, based on that, I'm going to do this work. And then you go talk to people, and they say, Andy, you would be amazing at this. You should do this work. Or they say, Andy, it's all overnights and mostly in Miami. Are you cool with that? And you're like, no, I'm not cool with that, right? And so when you figure out where you thrive, where you're a top candidate, where it all comes together, then it's a matter of meeting the people who have the opportunities.
And I think too, if you're multi-talented and you're good at a lot of things, finding out, uncovering and discovering, which is what I see that you help people do, because you're asking, what lights you up, really especially as you age, but at any age, seriously, you can be really good at a lot of things, but some of the things just drive you nuts. And so,
and sometimes people don't want to pay for what you want to do. And especially, the world changes fast. Right? The jobs 10 years ago are not the jobs today. So, as the world changes, you might remember a job you loved that doesn't really exist, or there's just not enough opportunity for you. Remember, you want to be that top candidate. And so a lot of the work is really understanding where the need is. Mm-hmm. And so from an employer standpoint, that need is an open chair, right? From a candidate standpoint, that need is opportunity. If there's 1,000 openings, go get them, baby, right? If there's 2 roles in the city, you got to wait for somebody to die. That's not a career strategy.
No. No, it isn't. And I have a deep appreciation for the frustration that folks can go through the process. So to have a platform like this that's really thinking holistically about the job search, about what's going to be a right fit for you, while also really deeply understanding what's the right fit for the person who needs to get that seat filled in a way that...
and the frustration is, like, we have this huge structure of emotional support. Like, we are not just you and your computer screen, because guess what? Humans are, we work best with encouragement and support and answers, and like that's the place where you get to show up as your best self. So that's part of the success factor, is when we're really, conscious about guiding and supporting all kinds of structure to help you show up so you're not frustrated and demoralized and sad.
That's great. You get that support group that can, when you're having those like woo valley moments, that'll help you. And how are you marketing? Because this is such a wonderful and unique platform. How do you get to your customer segments? What's that distribution channel that helps you reach them? What have you found to be most effective?
Oh gosh, as a startup, we try a lot of things. I will say one of our exciting ways that we find people is through referrals. Honestly, Andy, now that you know what ArcVita does, you're going to start introducing your friends who are stuck to us.
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
Yeah. So what we see, our clients refer lots of people to us, our cohort leaders and mentors and other people who know us refer people to us. That's not, as a startup, that's not big enough. Right. So we have a content marketing strategy. Follow us. Show that little content thing I sent you.
Yes. Some of your courses that you do.
So this is actually free. It's on our blog. It's both a blog, but also there's an hour-long workshop. For all of you who are watching, you need this. It's amazing. So come over. Laura Gurr taught this amazing workshop. So come over and watch that video on our website whenever you can. So we do some content marketing, and that helps people discover us. We also, we do alumni events, actually, for anyone who's watching. If you are part of a alumni event.
That's a great idea.
They're actually, they're pretty popular. We've done them for many universities. One of our last events, we had 300 people register. And again, this is a free event that you co-host with ArcVita. So where did you go to school? Just for sake of.
Simmons School of Management. So that'd be my MBA program.
Right. So Simmons School of Management has a content structure where they try to get everybody on Zoom every month, right? That is a lot of work. What ArcVita does, so introduce your people to us. We have ready to go various webinars. One of our popular ones is Find Your Career Fit. And so we co-host this with the alumni leadership. It's free. We have all the marketing graphics and how to market it ready to go. So we had 300 people register, 160 attend, and 155 were still at that 30-minute mark for that free alumni event, one of the last ones we did. So that's a great way for, again, ambitious professionals are reaching out to their alumni groups. So event strategies.
And then what's your revenue model for this so that you stay sustainable and profitable as you start to build and scale?
Yeah. So a job seeker pays directly. So again, that value proposition is we're going to help you find the right job faster. And that is measurable because that is compensation. So again, very affordable. We're talking to people all the time, trying to keep that under a week of salary. This is not a high price point, and we have payment options, financing.
Right. Love that. People do not be alone. And when you're trying to find something that is so important to you, and coming back after what we've all been experiencing from the global pandemic, people are hiring. Okay. Lots of new jobs are being created. Perhaps you've had some time off and you're ready to get back in. This is not an expense in your life. It's a write-off. Job searching is a write-off, but it is an investment. It's an investment in you and your happiness. And I think people would be crazy not to be going to arcvita.com and getting the scope.
Yeah, or even honestly, you've got my email phone across here. Just shoot me an email. It starts with a free conversation about your goals, your strategy. Like, we'll share resources. This is not a hard sell. If it's right for you, you can try it. The trial is no obligation. It's not that kind of business.
Yeah, no, but this is wonderful. And at the same time, the understanding how you will be able to profit and build a sustainable business that will be able to employ and help feed the world and all of that good stuff. Yeah, that's amazing.
I actually, from a founder perspective, especially, I come out of finance, like probably too frugal in the beginning. But, if you don't make money, it's not a business, it's a hobby. Right. And so as a business, cost control and really investing, there's so many service providers. I call it selling shovels to gold miners. There's a lot of ways you can spend money as a founder that don't get you the return. And so, yeah, for sure, like the financing, and again, we're raising this round, like we need funding to scale our marketing. We need funding to, improve our application. But the core of the business model, a successful business has, operating margins that are sustainable.
Yeah. See, and that's beautiful. I love that. Now we're into the point of the founder journey. Elissa, this is so important because as founders going, even if it's a side hustle, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night, or you're going to have moments where your stomach clenches and your heart stops and you're like, and you know it's going to pass. What is your mindset hack to help that you can share with other founders that has helped you when you've had your moment of panic over the last 4 years when you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? How am I going to solve this problem? How have you figured that out to get you back on track?
I'm listening to your phrasing really carefully. My mindset hack. Well, I guess I'll share a couple things that I say. And I say this to our job-seeking clients: if you're in any kind of transition, whether you're a founder or in some other kind of career transition, you need to take care of your mammal. You need to sleep. You need to exercise. You need to cook and eat nutritious food. You need to spend time with people who care about you. I am a Christian, and I treasure and value the hope and peace and faith, or I get from my faith. Like, you need to take care of yourself. This is a long journey.
It is.
And taking care of your mammal pays off always.
It
So
sure does.
that's definitely something. And I think with age, you learn that more too. But I love to be outside, whether it's biking, I'm trying to surf. I love to ski. I've gotten to ski because of COVID, but I've got a Peloton in there. Gosh, isn't their business model? Talk about a tech-enabled business. That's awesome. I got to tell you, as a tech-enabled founder, I love Peloton. But exercise while you call your founder friend. You can huff and puff together.
That's right.
I'm famous for my walk and talks. You want some support as a founder? Give me a call. We both are going to take a walk. So finding ways to get what you need is really big. And I think too, again, I'm not sure if this is a mindset hack, but a lesson I learned is that innovation is visionary. And the people who love you aren't necessarily going to love your business. Like, you're creating the future. So when people who have celebrated your milestones, your graduations, or your children, or your marriage, or your prior employment with direct deposit, to celebrate you founding a business, that's okay. You're a visionary, and those people aren't going to be the same people. When you identify who that is, you just smile and nod, like, how are things going? Things are great, right? And if they wanted to know more, they will. You'll also identify the people who will support you. And other founders, you and I were talking about this, Andy. I use, I don't have, as a leader, I can't call my team and be like, hey, I'm having a bad day. So I call other founders and kind of lean on that support.
It's so important. It really is. And knowing who your peeps are. I'm looking at you, Mia Voss, that, when you need a lifeline, that they're there, because you do. You have to put a brave face on for your vendors, your team, your customers, and certain members in your intimate circle who do not have the heart or understanding of the entrepreneurship journey. And especially if they're looking at you like a train wreck about to happen, you need to say, I got this, is fine. We're doing great. And then share the concerns.
And team too, like real team. Like, if you can't afford, when you can't afford to hire the expertise you need, find advisors. They don't even have to be formal advisors. They're people who have done what you need to do, and they will guide you. When people give you advice, take it.
Yeah.
Right?
And you used a key word, hire those advisors. Folks, it's not much, and it's, it's a stipend really, but it's honoring the energy exchange of their advice and their wisdom and putting it into your business. Or if it's, a piece of the equity, that can work as well. But that's so important. And I always love to find out how this journey has served you, because you've had a variety of interesting pathways and experiences, but there's nothing like the entrepreneurship journey. And so how has this journey served you both professionally and personally?
I think I think empathy is something that, we talked about this yesterday. Encouragement is free, but empathy, like if you follow or have read any of Brene Brown's research around shame and vulnerability, like humans and even people who look like they have it all together need a lot of empathy. And that, as a founder, I need that. But as I'm talking to people and working with people, I would say the personal journey is just this focus on real empathy. How can I show up with more empathy? How can I give more empathy? And really understanding that it's kind of a starting place for everybody, and I don't think I would have thought that 5 or 10 years ago. Professionally, when I left, I was positioned as a vice president of finance for publicly traded companies. That was my career path. And I thought, gosh, I'm stepping off this career path. And, certainly not on that career path anymore, but what's true is nobody's holding me back. I work at my own speed. And, I've taken an idea from a napkin to a B2C fully, formed company. We have a team of 30 people. We have revenue. We have, a platform. And can we take it to the NASDAQ? Yeah, I think we can. Right? Does everybody believe in that watching? Probably not, but we can. And so that sort of, from a professional journey, whether I stay the CEO, I never built this as a job. If we get somebody who's better at the CEO, come and bring it. I'm about hiring people better and smarter than me and lifting it up. But, this idea that, being a founder was going to limit or step off my professional career. And I did it anyway, but it's just been, gosh, the growth. And, leadership, especially with a big team and distributed remote, a lot of leadership is learning on the job.
It sure is.
Not platitudes on a live startup show, right?
No.
We're working with real humans who have real lives. And so, I can't say enough how grateful I am for the people on our team that work with us. It's amazing. And as a leader, I always think how can I serve my team? My job is to make your job work, right?
Hold on. Oh, yeah. My job is to make your job work. That is leadership on so many levels. And you were talking about empathy as well. That is definitely a stitch that on a pillow moment. Elissa, seriously, thank you. And thank you for your incredible insights into this journey and your own transparency and your own empathy for yourself and everybody around you who's involved in this journey. It does take a village on so many levels to raise a startup. It takes time. It takes patience. You have hit on all of those, but you've also hit on the core ingredient that's going to make you successful and it makes other founders successful, whether it's in their first, second, third, or fourth business. It does not matter. You are a problem solver. You will figure this out. And where you are and I'm not going to say the sacrifices, I'm going to say the investments that you've made over the years to jump back into a gig here or take on a side gig there have really helped you deepen your understanding of the entrepreneurship journey and bring more value to your own beautiful self as well as everybody around you. So I am in awe and wonder of everything you've done, Elissa, and so grateful that you joined me on the Startup Life live show on Fab Female Friday so that we got a better understanding ourselves of this beautiful business model that you've created and how it adds so much value for folks looking for a job and for those who are seeking the right employee and team member, but also, the understanding of how you have come to where you are today and where you're going to be going. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's really my pleasure. I always like to close with my offers. So again, if you know somebody who is stuck, in their career transition. We define that as you've been looking for more than 4 weeks and are just not getting exciting offers, or you're getting interviews or exciting interviews, or you're getting interviews and not getting offers. So quick email to them and me. Hey, I saw this woman, Elissa. Maybe ArcVita can help you. We love referrals. The second offer, again, we had that look great on online meetings. This is a phenomenal workshop. I want you each to go over to our blog and watch that. You're going to get real value from that right away. And my third offer is just for founders. This is an open offer, no matter when you're watching it. I always have 30 minutes or an hour to review your financial model. This is work where it's easy for me, and I do this as a service. I won't come work for you as a consultant. I'm busy, but I always have time to review your financial model, talk financial strategy with you, and help you find a resource if you need one, consultant or an accountant. And that's a gratis offer for any founder who has some idea of financial model but just needs help.
Aw. Seriously, folks, because financial modeling is how you work on your business. The data does not lie, and it helps you make better decisions as a founder. You are so generous, and you are such a wonderful human as well as a founder. Thank you so much for joining me on the Startup Life Show and bringing your brilliance today, Elissa.
Well, thank you, Andy, and thank you again for how encouraging you are. It's really a lift and a light for me.
Great. Thank you. I'm so glad I get to meet the coolest people. I'll see you in the green room. When I get to interview these founders, I mean, the stories here and their pathways to figuring things out with their business, it is such an honor. And, anything that we can do to help you move your business forward, please, throw questions into the comments. Let us know what's pressing. And boy, that offer that Elissa gave us for, I'll review your financial model. What? That is serious. That's so generous. And again, as she said, please, if you know anybody who's struggling with their job search, email her. You saw all the details are there. They're also in the show notes. I'm so grateful that you tuned in. I want to share with you who's coming on next Tuesday, because I'm always here Fridays and Tuesdays at 1 p.m. EST. And we're going to be talking all about traction with the Get Shit Done goddess herself, Alex Batdorf. She really loves helping the female founders gain meaningful traction because she's been there before. She's a 3-time founder, and she understands what it's like to get, quote, pitch slapped as a woman. And so she's going to be talking about all the traction tricks that she's learned over the years to help scale. She had a successful business. She sold it after a ton of hard work. And now she loves to be what she calls the superpower scaling sidekick, supporting women entrepreneurs and gaining traction to build scalable companies on their own. You know how to find out who is on the next show. You join the meetup group right here. I'm finding it real quickly on the dashboard. Join Startup Life Live's meetup group. You'll get the alerts every time I post a new show, so you can get as excited as I get when we get to meet a new founder, learn from their journey, and grab the gems. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in and for all that you're doing in building your business. I just, I'm so in awe and wonder of the courage and the tenacity and the resilience it takes. And I do want you to remember this as you're going through your day, as you're trying to get through some days, right? That you're braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem. And oh yeah, by the way, you are smarter, as we say here in Boston, than you think. You're doing it. Ask for help, get folks to help you, and don't ever forget to reach out. I believe in you, and I'll see you next time. Mwah! Wishing you a delicious day wherever you are.